What's up, guys? Welcome back. It is a rather mild sauce day today, so we're gonna push through it. We're gonna make the best of it. Good to have you guys back. We're gonna do something a little different today. We're gonna take a really quick look at the close yesterday off of the FOMC meeting. You guys were here for that. That was a lot of fun. We're gonna then look at kind of the top movers, see what's going on, and we're gonna peek at the cryptocurrency news. So maybe later in the episode, we'll get into the super in-depth, hour-long TA, but let's keep it brief today. That's what I'm thinking. So this is the chart we had up yesterday. We can see right here on the hourly, we had a little dump into the FOMC meeting that was quickly bought up. I'm going to go ahead and delete it. Quickly bought up. We were looking for a close on the daily. We identified 39.6 as our bullish engulfing target. Price found support there, closed higher, and now seems to basically be ranging at resistance around 40,800, mostly sideways. I will say it is a good thing to see Bitcoin moving sideways after making a move up, but we're still stuck in this range. I think we're really just going to look at this daily. We talked about our 3-candle trade setup. There it is. We closed above 39.6. And so that's not bad, but this chart is really unchanged. We're still sideways. We haven't broken a higher high or a lower low. And so Bitcoin continues to trade to the right. Wanted to look at kind of the top movers today, do a basic overview. So we can see the top 10 here: Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, XRP, Terra, Solana, Cardano, mostly sideways as well. Solana standing out with a little bit larger gain, but really nothing too great. About a 6% move over the last 24 hours compared to Bitcoin's 1, Ethereum's 4. Mostly sideways market at the moment. The top movers are some coins I don't think we forgot about or haven't heard of. XIDO Finance. This one I am not familiar with at all. I did notice over the last few days it has crept up into the top 100. I think when I first saw it, about an $800 million market cap, now $1.1 billion. Putting on some gains there, trading at $41. We have CELO with a 22% gain. That chart actually looks spicy. We might pull that one up. Very similar to Pancakeswap with an 18% gain, and MINA protocol. Actually, those charts are all looking kind of similar. We're starting to see that sideways and those nice green candles pop price up. Actually, I'm going to pull up Cake here. Just want to see what Cake looks like. And what was it? MINA, this looks interesting. I like this bump and run setup. Maybe we'll peek at that. Well, this is not a Cake chart, much to my dismay. Oops. Cake US, what? Cake Tether, there we go. In the greater picture, this is what a lot of the market looks like. We're seeing some nice little candles here, but off of really, really deep lows. Cake traded down to $5.29. It looks like it hit $7.32 today. Now it's trading around $6.50. I mean, that's great if you bought, yesterday or the day before, but outside of that, it looks like people are holding the bag, unless this isn't the full chart history, which it probably isn't. Interesting. 8 cap. I've never seen that. I've never seen skilling. It looks like there's some new exchanges have been added to TradingView. There's something interesting, I suppose, for the day. I don't really feel strongly either way about it. Just interesting that they've added more exchanges. We're going to make a MINA chart. I know I don't have a MINA chart. I don't even know what MINA is. Sounds mean. Really the same thing. These MINA, Cake, these look very similar. The traded time is a little bit different. We have a little more history here on MINA, it looks like, at least on these exchanges. But what we're really seeing is that bleed and now some kind of relief, but we haven't really made much of we haven't really gotten back much of these gains. Kind of just still sitting low, so I would definitely temper any excitement you might have over these. That doesn't mean that they can't keep running, but there's not a lot of progress made. AVAX up 12%. We can 13%. That looks interesting over the last 7 days. Same with AAVE. Weird. Weird. Has anyone else noticed that it's more common than it should be. But coins, so AAVE and AVX, or what was it, AVX? AVAX and AAVE, both A coins, both running. Maybe that's just like confirmation bias. But I've noticed that like coins that start with the same letter, for some reason, run together a lot of the time. Maybe that's just confirmation bias. AAVE, really the same situation. We have a little bit of excitement here with these green candles. AAVE actually on its 4th green day potentially. That's better than, say, Cake's one explosive daily candle, 2 green. But this is a little bit more mature of a climb. Still battling. I think we need to see about 152 on AAVE to really have made any progress here. Until we do, it's still in the same pattern of this slow bleed, lower high, lower low. For the optimists out there, you guys know I love optimism. Wow, that's a really messy chart. That's an embarrassingly messy chart. Let's make a copy really quick. Whoops. For the optimists that like clean charts, this is really what we're seeing across the space. Some kind of falling wedge or some kind of descending triangle. Typically, we do break these, or do expect these to resolve to the upside. We may see something like a 618 retracement, but at the moment, nothing super exciting. We'll have to keep an eye. Anything in the last hour? Just that MINA XRD, we looked at that recently. Yeah, not a lot going on. I wanted to look at the news because what else is there to do? Every altcoin chart at the moment looks incredibly similar with that falling wedge pattern, with that lower low, higher low, etc. It'll be spicy when they all break out. I think that is certainly a good probability, as they're all going to look to break out eventually. We may be seeing the start of it, but I think we've all learned our lesson over the last few weeks. Don't get excited early. Don't get excited early. I think I'll note in my experience through crypto over the years that when it gets boring like this, a lot of the time that is right before something exciting happens. But it's not really tradable. Keep your hopes up. Keep them up. Play it smart. They'll move eventually. So let's see what's in the news. Coinbase alleges unregulated security sales. Class action lawsuit. Is this to do with Ripple? Let's find out quickly. Cryptocurrency proposed. 3 individuals brought a case to Coinbase, proposed a class action on March 11th in the District of New York, alleging Coinbase had sold unregistered securities. The lawsuit lists 76 tokens and claims that security tokens are selling in violation of state and federal law. Wow. Funny anecdotal part about this, I opened up my Coinbase app the other day because we got the email about them adding new order types, improving the platform in some ways, and I realized I hadn't opened it and really looked through it in a while, and so I did, and I realized how many coins. I was talking to the girl, and I said, look at this app, look at all these coins, and she was like, I don't care, why are you telling me this? And I was like, it's just wild to me. When I started on this platform, it had 3 coins. We had Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. Now I would say there's 200. Coinbase really branching out here in the crypto space with their offerings. I guess that's exciting. Not really to me though, because it seems like Coinbase has just been adding crap. And not everything they've added is crap. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. But it seems like they've added a lot of crap, and their kind of selective touch has gone out the window. I remember being kind of excited for them listing Bitcoin Cash as the 4th coin they ever listed. What was it then? Ethereum Classic maybe as the 5th. And I was like, whoa, 5 options. And now you open that app and how do you even make a choice? There's so many. I think that, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to comment on the case, but I can give my opinion out here is Coinbase went from being very selective with what they listed, and then they started getting kind of more fast and loose with it. We saw things like Orchid, OXT. Has anyone even heard about that project in the last few years? I don't know. That was a big red flag for me. That was essentially a completely centralized coin that they're just listing and kind of dumping into Coinbase's liquidity. And clearly they've continued that with coins like ICP, etc. To see class actions brought up against Coinbase is no surprise to me. at all. Will they win is the question, and I'm going to say that's going to be a hard battle. Coinbase has a lot of money, a lot of resources. Any class action against them is going to be difficult. You're going to really need grounds to stand on. The suit says that Coinbase is the actual seller when an exchange takes place, crediting and debiting the parties involved. That's interesting. I never thought of it that way. Technically, as an exchange, you're just the intermediary. So selling a security, wouldn't that come down to the other side of the person on the trade? Aren't they the one technically selling the security? That seems like maybe semantic, but logically, I think that makes sense. I don't know how you would hold people accountable on that level, but just think of that like kind of thought process as well. Isn't the other side of the trade the one selling the security? And aren't you buying a security? I don't know. Anyway, Coinbase, good luck with that. That isn't so interesting. What else is in the news? DarleyGo IDO successfully raises money. I don't even know what that is. Don't care. But what we can kind of like read in between the lines here is every single day in the crypto news space, we are seeing fundraising. Are the projects going to succeed? Nobody knows how they'll fare, but every single day fundraising is happening, and that directly means money is being injected into this space. You know, my chat with Kevin O'Leary, the link is pinned in the chat. I got a really good idea of kind of the way that outsiders with lots of money, big investors that aren't crypto insiders. Kevin O'Leary, incredibly impressive for not being kind of a primary crypto bro, if you know what I mean. Like, his knowledge was on point. He's done his research. Gave me a good look into that and how people with money don't necessarily have the on-ramps to directly invest, and they're finding ways kind of around investing. Like he spoke about mining companies. That makes a lot of sense to me. You're literally investing in something that's tied to the value of the product. I actually reached out to Hive since that interview because there was a little misunderstanding, but Hive tweeted at me. Hive is from what I can tell, a large mining operation that is net zero. They use nuclear, wind, solar, maybe hydro, I don't know. Don't quote me here. This is just from memory. But I reached out to them because I want to chat with them. I like the way they're going about it. I personally see the future of crypto mining, of proof of work. I've said this for years, being the main driver of renewable energy and efficient energy sources. You're making a global energy market through the proof of work system. And it only makes sense to do that in a sustainable way. I'm going to rant here for a minute. I can't agree with the elected officials, the public servants, that are railing against proof of work because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They don't understand what it is. They don't get it. But I can sympathize in one sense, is mining is very energy intensive. It's very energy intensive. That it's pure energy being translated basically into money. And so I can see the runaway thought process there where, well, this is just going to keep expanding and inevitably that's going to just gobble up so much energy. I can agree with that thought because that's true. Mining, if it continues the way that it has and the way that it, I think logically will progress into the future, it's just going to keep growing. It's going to consume more and more. And I think that almost by nature demands that you can't use limited or finite non-renewables because the scale doesn't stop. Kevin said it. Mining is a database, but it's a database that is producing pure money. And so there is no end to it. And so I can see that. I think it only makes sense. Something he commented on as well was kind of the balance of the old ways of mining, meaning kind of using dirty energy, is going to tip in the scales of renewable. I'm getting my thoughts mixed up, but someone commented how investing in renewable mining directly gives those companies a slight advantage in the way the mining network functions. That over time is going to de-incentivize and slowly tip those scales towards renewables as those companies have more efficient mining or greater hash rates, more capital, etc. to expand. All right, rant over. Green mining, I'm all about it. Not showing anything specifically though, but the roundabout way of saying I plan on chatting with Hive. I'll have them on at some point. I dig what they're doing. I'm not shilling them. They're not. They haven't given me money or anything. I'll put this on like an open offer to the whole internet. If you are a company doing completely green mining, sourcing your own energy that's green, completely sustainable, reach out. I'll have you on. This is not like a picking winners or losers. I want to support that because I think it's the future and I think it's amazing. Okay, let's keep going. Nostalgic Winamp player skin to be sold as NFTs for charity. Who cares? Winamp media play. Who cares? How do crypto monitoring and blockchain analysts help avoid cryptocurrency fraud? By paying attention to the blockchain and seeing where assets move. Question answered. Next one. Paxos partners with Miami. Mayor to give away 500 tickets to Bitcoin 2022 conference. Hey, that lines me up for a shill. Join me in Miami. I'll be at that conference April 6th through 9th. You can use my promo code CROWN, all caps, CROWN. You get 10% off. I don't care if you use it or not, but join me. Be cool. Kind of cool to see them giving away tickets. That's not really a big thing, though. What higher interest rates mean for crypto? Now you've caught my attention. Daily Coin. You guys watched it yesterday. We did see the Fed follow through with their 25 BPS. I was wrong again. I thought they were going to walk it back. They did not. They decided to stay on schedule. They didn't give many details, but saying that there's 7 more FOMC meetings this year, and there are 7 more planned hikes of 25 basis points. This is the highest level of inflation that we've seen in 4 decades. Seems like a little lagged response. If the Fed could have spent less time telling us that inflation wasn't real, if it was transitory, if it was whatever, not happening, maybe they could have gotten ahead of this a little more. Maybe they wouldn't be in the situation they're in now. Raising rates while stocks are down, it's a ballsy move. Let's see how it plays out for them, Cotton. However, with growing oil and gas prices, fueling inflation expected to grow further due to the Russia-Ukraine going on. The outcomes are already starting to affect the world's economy, and we've kind of seen that the price of oil hasn't changed that much, but boom, the price of gasoline changes at the pump. There's a lot of factors in play here. I have a feeling, and I'm not going to name names because I don't know who's the one doing it, but something out there is doing the sleight of hand on us again. Look over here, do something over here. Like, the prices at the pump change like before the price of oil even change. They're like a leading indicator. But then once the price of oil goes back down at the pump, it takes months and months for that price to change. So it's not just inflation. It's not just the Russia-Ukraine issue. And it's not, I don't know. I think we have to include, there's certainly corporate greed capitalizing on this situation. There's a lot of factors in play. I'm not going to try to figure out who is at the core. Fed officials are planning to increase interest rates up to 2% by the end of the year. That's what they stated earlier. That comes as no surprise. Again, I'm going to remind you all, it's really going to come down to how they do it. Do they follow the schedule? Are there any interruptions in the schedule? So say we move into April, Q2, and we have huge inflation numbers, which we've already had, but even huger. Do they speed that up? That's going to really throw a wild card at the market. The market is not going to react to that. It's now slowly building in this 2% interest rate. And to mix it up, that's when that uncertainty strikes the market. So it'd be spicy. Can we actually get to the point though how does this impact crypto? And I'm not sure. According to analysts, Bitcoin and other digital assets are capable to remain resilient in a rising rate environment, and I would agree. Orsini offered to look back at the past when Bitcoin still managed to grow by 2,000% in 2015 to 16 interest rate hiking environment. That's a good point. Interest rates have been turned up while Bitcoin has existed, and it did not seem to stop it. I would agree. Fed is bringing a water gun to an inflation war, says Pomp. I like that. The Fed is expected to fight inflation with the bazooka. At least twice higher rates than offered. What? Honestly, guys, we can do our own research here. Here's our daily Bitcoin chart. Has Bitcoin reacted to the rate change? Closed a bullish engulfing green candle yesterday, 4.6% gain. It didn't break out. We're still in the range, But there you go. There's your market. There's your own research. We don't even have to listen to these talking heads. Bitcoin does not seem to care. Bitcoin has dumped on every piece of positive news ever. And it didn't dump yesterday. I mean, I guess it dumped the minute the notes were released and then quickly rebounded. But Bitcoin clearly not caring. I think weathering better than many things. Though we do see, now we turn our views to stocks. We do see stocks are up as well today. Let's go back to the old screen. I like this better. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. If you're new here, welcome. We do live streams here all the time. Today's a little bit of a chill day. There's not a lot going on, so it's probably going to be a tighter knit crowd, but that's usually when we get into the good stuff, the goodies. So pull up a chair, pull up a drink, hang out, leave the tab open, idle, stay a while, and listen. I'm old Kane from Diablo. Stocks are up. So stocks don't seem to be too impacted by it either, which is odd. I guess that's not odd. There's a lot going on here. Guys, I, of course, am no monetary Fed interest rate expert. I just follow it. I read about it. I think I know more than the average person. Fingers crossed. But typically, I think it's expected when rates increase that stocks don't fare so well and that the dollar fares better. What might be happening here as we see the S&P up, we see Bitcoin up. Maybe we should pull commodity up like gold to see if that's reacting the same. Yep, and gold. There we go. So everything up. Everything up. This could be due to what we were talking about. The Fed set out a plan. They followed the plan. They gave the market ample time to adjust and to position. They didn't mix it up. There you go. I think that really is what's happening. None of them, commodities, stocks, nor Bitcoin, have really broken or regained any significant ground. We see gold traded up to 2070 earlier in March before falling down in a very ugly pattern. I do not like this gold. Closed green yesterday and today trading green, but this is very minuscule gain. Gold dropped 8.5%, and now it's back up, 2.5%. So this is still, this is not really super bullish. I don't like this. Let me get rid of some of this crap. Where are all these lines coming from? There we go. I knew I had a fib on there. I don't like this, meaning bearish. This V-shaped top is very ugly on the daily. Gold's going to have to really pick up the pace here. I mean, I could see it returning maybe to 2,000. I'm going to guess that's the 618 retrace. Yeah, close enough. Yep. Until it recovers there, it's still just doing nothing. 2,000 would probably be my target for gold. that looks too good. Same with the S&P. You have some green days. This looks better than maybe the string of daily candles before, but you're still not at a higher high. It seems like the whole market, the whole global market, sitting at lower highs still, waiting to break out. So this would definitely turn our attention to the dollar. If everything else is up, what's the dollar doing? And right on cue, we see the inverse. The dollar now on its third day of red. That's a pretty ugly red candle today, down more than 0.5%. I will give it the benefit here of, yes, it is moving inversely, which we are, we say all the time here, but in the same sense that stocks, commodities, and cryptos haven't broken new highs, haven't set higher highs, the dollar here, though ugly, has not set lower lows. So a move on the dollar below, looks like 97.7, that's going to be a significant move. Really, any price action below our high at 99.4 and above our low at 97.7 is nothing. This is just sideways kangaroo market, but it's something to pay attention to. Highly recommend. Keep an eye on the dollar. When the dollar is green, and even, all right, so yesterday, right before the meeting, we looked at all these charts. The dollar was the only thing green on the day. Everything else was having a red daily candle. The dollar was green. By the daily close, that had inverted. The dollar closed red, everything else closed green. Just something to pay attention to. How are you looking? It's looking all right on the day. Let's see. Our monthlies will be wrapping up soon. Not looking the worst. not looking the worst. You may have some bearish divergence into March's close in the dollar. You can see I have this doodle from a while ago. That's kind of how I expect it to play out. I think that's highly probable. Finding resistance around that 100 mark and just repeating the same lower high kind of ugly pattern the dollar's been doing for a decade. So the corn. The corn. Well, is there any other interesting news? Let's see. Probably not. Probably not. Polygon Onboards SIMBA chain. Cool. Cool beans. Cryptocurrency is legal in Ukraine. Legal. Legal is a strange word, because I don't believe it was ever illegal. This doesn't mean that it's legal tender. Sometimes the verbiage can get us confused. But hey, cryptocurrency has helped out Ukraine. I believe they spent over $100 million worth of crypto donations on helmets, body armor, food, medic stuff. We're doing the good work, man. Cryptocurrency is a tool, and it takes people like you and me to use that tool to help people. There are always going to be people using that tool to hurt others, and we have to be that shining example, because if we don't do it, nobody will.